So we just hopped off to Twitter Space, had an hour-and-a-half Twitter Space conversation. Make sure you follow me at SwipaCam on Twitter. We have conversations all the time. The tweets be flying. But we got the breaking news from Adrian Wojnarowski literally 23 minutes or so into the Twitter Space that Bryn Forbes just got traded to the Denver Nuggets and MPJ, Dozier, and Bol Bol are headed to the Boston Celtics. I had to do a reaction video for you right now. Wow. Just what an absolute truth bomb that got dropped. You know, the first thing I thought about when I heard the Bryn Forbes news, Nikola Jokic, MVP of the NBA, saying teams know that we can't shoot. And that was it. That was it. Right now, Facundo Campazzo is shooting 32% from three. Austin Rivers is shooting 31% from three. And then you get Bones Highland, who's shooting really well lately, but he's shooting 34% on the season. Jamal Green is shooting 25% on the season. Will Barton is shooting 37% on the season. And then you got Monte Morris shooting 38% from three on the season. So, not great. The only 40-point three-point shooters, you got a Davon Reed and Zeke Nugget, but that's on really, really, really small minutes. So the sample size isn't great. So the Denver Nuggets don't have a lot of shooters. Nikola Jokic is shooting 36% from three. But when he's in the post and the clutch game situation rolls around, they're double teaming, they're stunting at him, they're cutting off the drivers, they're cutting off the cutters. And what was crazy is Ryan Blackburn today, he posted a video showing what's happening when Jokic in late game situations. In these three clips, Facundo Campazzo was sitting in the corner. But again, Facundo only shooting 32% from three. Last year he shot up at 37, so last year it would have worked out. But what he was showing was that essentially when Jokic's in the post, what they're doing is Facu's man was either cutting off the cutter and preventing Jokic from doing a pass on the inside to the basket, or he was just absolutely leaving Facundo Campazzo wide open. He would double team and Jokic. And so the problem it was presenting was it was constricting the offense, meaning that it wasn't allowed to be as fully free or fully functional as it could be. But Bryn Forbes is shooting 41% from three, and he's one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA over the last 3 seasons. I'm not sure if y'all remember, but in the 2018-19 season in those playoffs when Bryn Forbes was playing against the Denver Nuggets in the first round, he was shooting the lights out all the time. All the time. Then even last year for the Milwaukee Bucks, he won an NBA championship with them. He played some really, really key games for them. So Bryn Forbes is a great pickup. I think this is going to change the way that the bench unit plays. Because right now, the bench unit is going to have 4 guards. This is before Jamal Murray and before Michael Jordan Jr. make a comeback, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But they're going to have 4 guards they're going to have to rotate through. So that's going to mean they're going to have Austin Rivers, Facundo Campazzo, and Bones Highland, and Bryn Forbes. Now, if you ask me whether I'm going to do that, I'm going to see if Bones Highland can be the primary playmaker in that offense. I'm going to see if he can play point guard. He's 6'3" with a 6'9" wingspan, has the ability to play defense at a high level eventually, but he has long arms. He can at least deflect and contest. And I want to see Bryn Forbes next to him. I want to see what a lineup looks like where is Bones Highland, Bryn Forbes, Davon Reed, Jeff Green or Jermichael Green, and Zeke Nnaji, and then eventually Boogie Cousins. Because I think that lineup can actually do something. The biggest thing with the bench lineup is not only were they not scoring, but they're not playing defense. So as we talked about the other day on one of the previous episodes, if you're going to be in the game, you got to do something. You got to either be offensively contributing or defensively contributing and not letting them score. But if you're just going to be out there running around, getting cardio in, and you're not going to be doing either at a high level, I can't do nothing with you. And not only that, Jokic can't do nothing with it. And he said it outright. We can't shoot. And teams know we can't shoot. Therefore, it's causing us to have a lot of issues. So, I don't know if Nikola Jokic did his first LeBron James power move pull. It could be something like that. But they got Bryn Forbes coming into Denver, and I'm super excited about it. I would love to see a combination. I want to see what Bryn Forbes looks like next to Jokic. Think about it. Think about having Monte Morris shooting 37% from three, 38% from three. Will Barton shooting, 38% from three. And then you got Jeff Green out there or something like that. You got Bryn Forbes or you got Aaron Gordon out that's cutting. You wanted them that somewhere in there, that six player rotation right there, having Bryn Forbes in there to play one of the guard spot. I think that's going to change the game, man. I think that's going to make a big difference. And the reason I think it's going to make a difference because I think he can fill his role to the degree into which he's supposed to fill that role. And I think that's going to help the Denver Nuggets. I think that's going to help in the MVP. And I think that's going to help the Denver be able to run a better offense. He's not much of a defender. He's only 6'2", about 205 pounds or so. So So don't expect that. But expect great shooting, elite shooting. That's what they need. They needed a shooter. They needed a JJ Redick type. He's that dude. He's unconscious when it comes to shooting three-pointers. He'll shoot from anywhere. He's shooting 41% right now, like I said, from the three. That's big. They don't have a high-volume 40% three-point shooter now that Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. aren't in the lineup. So, anyway, that's that. Bryn Forbes is a different Nugget. I wish PJ Dozier the best. Love PJ Dozier. Love this game. I love the way he plays. Love the way he thinks. I love the way he connects with the team. He was well-loved in the organization, but they can't use him this year. And right now, with how well the MVP is playing, and I said this on Twitter Spaces, I want to say this again. Whenever you have an MVP player in the middle of their prime, well, really starting off his prime, this is the first year, he's 26, first year in his prime, you never want to waste a moment. You never want to waste a moment because you don't know how long that window is going to be open for. You also don't know how long that player is going to be there for. And for Nikola Jokic, Lord willing, I think he can last a very long time. He can play at a high level until his mid to late 30s. I think he can do that. But the problem is you don't ever want him to get the idea or impression. I'm putting together the best PER season of all time, the best box plus minus season of all time. I know that Jamal Murray's out. I know Michael Porter Jr. is out, but you're just sitting on your hands and not assisting me. You never want Jokic to feel that way. So they said, you know what? We're going to get Bryn Forbes. We're going to get rid of some future assets. We're going to get rid of PJ Dozier. We're going to get rid of Bol, who we already thought we would give him to Detroit, but now he got foot surgery. He's out for 8 to 12 weeks. They're not playing. They're not contributing. Let's go ahead and give them to Boston. Take Bryn Forbes. Let's give the MVP some help from the perimeter. I think it's going to make a big difference. So, way to go, Denver Nuggets. Next up, there's a report in the grapevines that Jamal Murray is going to be back around the end of February, beginning of March. You've heard that before. But there's some news in the grapevine that Michael Porter Jr. may be back at some point this season as well. There seems to be a renewed optimism. When Michael Porter Jr. first got hurt in the preseason, was out because of injury after the Houston Rockets game, then he got back surgery in December. There seemed to be some hesitation. Everybody was kind of saying, you know what, he's done for the year. We're just going to wait for him to come back next year. But from what we're hearing, he just started working out on the court again. He's shooting jump shots and he's jumping now. From what's going out in the grapevine, there's an opportunity for him to be back this season. And the Denver Nuggets could be at full strength by the time April comes around. By the time April comes around, the Denver Nuggets could have Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. in the lineup. Jamal Murray starting again for sure. Michael Porter Jr. just getting back used to it, eventually starting. But that depth lineup that we saw for 10 games last year that got off to an 8-0 start and started with the Atlanta Hawks, it might be back. And if that lineup comes back, Phoenix, Golden State, Utah, Memphis, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, 76ers, Chicago, wherever you want to put on the court, I would take Jamal Murray, Will Barton, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and the MVP of the NBA, Nikola Jokic, over 85 in the league. I hope it happens. I hope it happens. Y'all, great news. Bryn Forbes is a Denver Nugget. Maybe even better news. Michael Porter Jr. looks like he's on track to come back at some point in time this season. Great news. Great news, great news. Jamal Murray's going to come back. The Denver Nuggets play tomorrow. They play against the Clippers. I just wanted to give you a nice, quick little update that Bryn Forbes is the Denver Nuggets. But SwipaCam, follow me on Twitter. Let me know. Hit that subscribe button. Grow the channel. Grow the community, y'all. Because we're going to continue to get there together. Let's turn up. Get ready. The Nuggets are coming back.